A very good morning to my dear students of class 6. I welcome you all to this new class of social science where we will now complete chapter number 1 from civics, unity in diversity. I hope children in the previous class you must have enjoyed that animated video which was in a funny way explaining the different parameters of diversity and how are we united together. In today's class, we left in the previous class that how India is having diversity and still it is united. By giving two examples, we will see how the chapter tells us how diversity is prevailing in India. India, the land of many diversities, different languages, various types of food, different festivals, different regions, arts, culture. At the same time, there are also many similar things. Now, how do we explain diversity, children? How do we explain diversity? For example, let us see sometimes before 200 years ago, when there were no aeroplanes, cars, etc., people used to travel by ships, horses, camels, or on foot. They traveled in search of new places and then they stayed back for a different place for a long time. Some to settle. At times they stayed back at a place for a long time. Some others left their homes because of the scarcity of food and because of natural disasters like droughts, famines, etc. Some made their homes in the new places and gave rise to mix the old and the new food, languages, culture, traditions. For example, when people used to travel, they used to leave their houses. Maybe the area was not good for living, maybe the area was hit by famine, maybe the area was hit by earthquake or droughts, etc. Now, when people left that place, obviously they are going to travel to some different place and they are going to settle to some different place, children. Now, when they used to settle to a new place, children, obviously you will get to see the mixture of new ideas, new culture, new knowledge, new languages. People will be interacting with the new people and they will be exchanging their culture and traditions. Now, for example, children, Ladakh. In the book, you will see the comparison of Ladakh and Kerala is given, children. Ladakh is a desert in the mountains in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, where there very little agriculture is possible, as this region does not receive any rain and is covered by snow for most of the time. For drinking water, people depend on the melting of the snow during the summer months. When summer months arrive, the glaciers and the snow covered areas are going to melt because of the sunshine and they are going to get fresh water for drinking, which is by melting of the snow, children. Then, children, people have kept goats. Goats produce pashmina wool, which is priced very costly. Isn't it? So people used to eat meat and milk products like cheese and butter. Each family owned some goats and cows. Meanwhile, the place also attracted traders despite being a desert. Now, why traders were interested in going to Ladakh in spite of the fact that it is a desert, there is not much water? It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through the which caravans traveled from Tibet to India. So because Ladakh was a main joint venture, joint part, which gave many routes to travelers to go to Tibet and come to India, all right, for trade and different projects, children. Therefore, it is considered to be a tourist, therefore it was considered to be a trader's attraction. Now, meanwhile, the place got attracted by various tourists. These caravans used to carry textiles, spices, silk, carpets, etc. Buddhism in Tibet via Ladakh also was introduced 400 years ago. All right, it has a significant Muslim population. Ladakh has a very rich oral tradition of songs and poems and little poetries. Local version of Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Saga, are also performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists in Ladakh. So this was the overall view of the Ladakh. Now let us see how Kerala is being compared to Ladakh. Kerala is a state in the southwest corner surrounded by the sea on one side and hills on the other side. A number of spices like pepper, cloves, cardamom are grown in this region, and therefore it is a tourist attraction and it is an attraction for traders. Now, many Arab traders also came and settled down here. Ibn Battuta, a traveler here, stayed little less than 700 years ago. 700 years ago, Ibn Battuta, a traveler, used to stay here in Kerala. He wrote a travelogue. Like we have blogs. Therefore, a traveler who makes an account through written part is known as a travelogue. So he wrote a travelogue about Kerala, describing the lives of the Muslims, and said that they are a highly respected community. Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his ships. Now the Portuguese have discovered the sea route because Kerala is surrounded by sea from one side, okay, from Europe. Now all these various historical influences resulted in people of Kerala practicing different languages, different religions. Portuguese, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. The fishing nets called Chinawala were also prevailing in Kerala. It is believed that the word Chin would have come from China. The fertile land and the climate are suited to grow rice, and majority of the people eat fish and vegetables. Now, Kerala and Ladakh are quite similar in terms of geographical features. High altitude, then they have a history of same traders and cultural influences. Both regions were influenced by Chinese and Arab traders. The geography of Kerala allowed for the cultivation of spices, while Ladakh also had wool, development. Meanwhile, the influence of diverse culture, different cultures, is not merely a thing in the past. Means it is not just in the past. Even present lives are way about moving from place to place from different areas. The cultural traditions and the ways of the life have become a part of this new place and new time, children. Even now when people go and start settling there in new places, you will get to see a fusion of culture, fusion of languages, fusion of different societies basically. Similarly, their own neighborhoods, people from several communities live close to each other. Daily lives are about the ways in which they do their daily course, daily work. All right, and then it gets to know people from different communities more together. They get to know people more closely. Now, unity in diversity. India's diversity is a source of its strength. We always say, together we stand. All right, no matter we have different types of culture, traditions, and religions, we are still united. We are still Indians. So it is the diversity which is the strength of our country. Women and men from different culture, religion, background come together, and they have came together in the history also to oppose whom, children? To get freedom, the Britishers. All the women, all the men, no matter Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever, they used to stand together to oppose whom? The Britishers. They worked together to decide joint actions. They worked together, they went jail together, they found different ways how to revolt against the Britishers, how to get freedom. However, the people showed that they could be different, yet they can be united. All right. There is also a song which was sung in the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, composed in the memory of the brave people who were killed by a constant reminder of by a British general. The songs and the symbols that emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a reminder of the country's rich tradition, rich past, its rich diversity. Children, when we hear those patriotic songs on 26th January, 15th August, won't you start having glimpses of our freedom fighters, whatever stories we have heard of? Still, it creates that unifying bond of togetherness that we are one. We are one. We are the Indians first. Alright? Now, the Indian flag was also used as a symbol to protest that we are Indians, you Britishers have no right over our place, you should leave. The discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru, Indian Unity, is by Jawaharlal Nehru was a book which showed how diversity of Indians was uniting the people of India. Now, Indian unity is not imposed from outside, but rather it was something deeper. It was something deeper within, and it was from inside, children. When Britishers started ruling us, they started misbehaving with us. We did not think that he is a Muslim, he is a Hindu, we will not stand together and we will not go with each other. That time we were Indians only. So that feeling of unity is not imposed, that is from within, because we have that unifying bond, we are connected to each other, children. It was Nehru who coined this phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. We can well describe our country unity in diversity, no matter we are different in whatever terms, but ultimately we are one, we are Indians above all. So, this was the phrase given by Nehru, which is unity in diversity, to describe our unity. With this, children, we come to an end to this chapter of civics. I hope the chapter is clear to you all. Please read the chapter from your books, and I will see you all in the next class. But when I will post the questions and answers, you will have to write them in the copy from the PDF, and please draw the lines, write down the date, fill in the index. Civics work will be started from the half section of the copy. You will open the copy from the half, one page of the middle, you will write civics work, turn the page, start there writing date, chapter's name, and do the work. Thank you so much, children. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.